This is Module 2C. Module 2B got to be a bit long. It was 20 minutes, and so I decided for this last bullet point I was going to create Module 2C. But as you recall, the learning outcomes in Module 2 were the energy efficiency measures, the calculations, and now we're going to discuss the energy audit report itself. So you've had some assignments. The last section had assignment 2B, the energy efficiency measure 3, the furnace upgrade, which used the degree day method to do your calculations. And now you're going to have an assignment 2C where you're going to put it all together and you're going to generate your own audit report. So what goes into an energy audit report? Well, it's going to vary depending on the available information and the level of audit that was conducted. A level 3 is going to have much more detailed information than a level 1 energy audit report. The sample outline for an energy audit report is given on page 79, and that's a pretty all-inclusive sample outline. A lot of reports are a lot shorter than that and don't have all that information, but it's a good summary. So the first thing on the list is the executive summary. And that's where you're going to summarize your results for the reader. The executive summary is given, kind of for the executive. The first thing they want to look at, they want to see sort of like the gist of it, and in this case, it would be your EEM summary table and summary of tables. You may include your benchmarking results here. I like to include the energy analysis up front, but that's kind of an individual thing. So here's the bullet points or, condensed version of the outline of the audit report. You're going to have the executive summary that sums up all your basic information up front so that someone could open up the initial few pages and get, okay, this is the summary of what's inside of this report. Then you're going to have some background information, and this will vary depending upon the facility and, again, the audit level. What kind of background information describes what the facility is, its operational hours, who works there, who lives there, when it was built, any major renovations, all that kind of stuff will go into this background information. And then existing building systems. And this really should be titled the energy using system. This is going to be, what are your HVAC systems? What's your lighting system? What's your domestic hot water? Are there major plug loads that you need to think about? Is there anything unique to this facility? Say it's a theater, and so it has some high intensity theater lighting, or it's a retail. All that would go into your building systems. And I usually put each system type with a heading like domestic hot water, describe all the domestic hot water, HVAC, and sometimes I include tables of what the equipment is. One of the things that I have found in my time doing these energy audits is sometimes the people that authorize me to do the audit don't really know what they have. And at first that surprised me, but a lot of systems are maintained by outside consultants. And so I like to make sure that in my existing building systems that all of the information that's in there can give the building owner, building operator, facilities manager, or somebody else a whole accounting of exactly what they have there. And then next you're going to have your energy efficiency measures, and those are going to be a detailed description of the measure and the calculations. And then lastly, supporting information in some kind of appendix form. And this could include photographs, measurement information that you have. Maybe there's some extensive Excel spreadsheet calculations that don't fit in the body of the report, but you still want to present them. And so this is sort of the basic outline of an energy audit report. So at this point, it's probably appropriate for me to just dive right into what you're going to do for a time assignment 2C. You're going to generate your own audit report. So let's go through this. Assignment 2C. In the introduction, I say the primary deliverable of the energy audit is the report. The main purpose of the report is to provide clients with information upon which they can base a course of action to save energy in their buildings. And the audit report also provides background information on the facility, energy use, and the energy using systems. This is important right here. Reports should be written in a manner that is easy to understand by the intended audience. That's sometimes gets overlooked by some energy auditors that I've worked with. They don't realize that their audience doesn't have the technical background that they might have. And so the report needs to reflect who's reading it, who your audience is. At any rate, in this assignment, you will generate your own energy audit report based upon the work that you did in assignments 1A, 1B, 2A, and 2B. So the outline, what you'll have a title page. You can create that however you want. It should have your name, of course, on it, audit report. You could make up a company name if you want to do that. That's sort of up to you, to how creative, how detailed you want to be. At a very minimum, you're going to say that this is an audit report, and your name, of course, and probably the date. You're going to provide an executive summary, and in that executive summary, you're going to provide a summary of the building energy efficiency measures that you identified. That would be in the previous assignments, and the results of them in terms of energy and energy cost savings and simple payback. I always make a table for this in Excel. You can do it however you want, but that's what I found easiest. That's like upfront information. Now the building description needs to be in there at some point, and I like to provide it after this executive summary and the summary of the energy efficiency measures. And the building description describes the building architecturally and also how it operates, and of course the energy using systems contained within. And then you're going to have your energy cost analysis. That's your utility analysis data that you provided, that you did in the early assignments. And I always include, the 1 year table that's generated, and also the EUI and the energy cost ECI is included with that. And then if I've conducted an Energy Star report, which you did, that's also included in this information. And then the last bullet point I have here is a detailed energy efficiency measures description. And that's where you provide detailed information. And you did this in your assignments on the lighting and the furnace. Basically, you're just going to copy and paste those into your report because you already did this work. In fact, most of the work that you've done here, you really have to generate a executive summary and maybe a summary table, and then this building description. But was generated, this was generated, and this was generated in your assignments, and so you'll just reuse those. Going down. Now, what I've provided here is just some background information. So everybody's sort of talking about the same building. And a lot of the information that I used in generating those assignments came from this facility, which is a community college building in Portland, Oregon. So I just jotted down some notes about the facility, and you can use these notes to generate your building description. Don't just copy and paste this because it's not written very well. It's just, like I said, just a lot of notes that were written down. In fact, some of these are exact notes that I took when I was out there. And so I want you to organize it into a nice fashion so that it fits into the report. You'll see I talk about what the HVAC system is. I talk about the air handling unit. There's a chiller. I threw in this gas furnace so that it made sense for your energy efficiency measure. It's a classroom facility with lots of labs. There's some offices. I talk a little bit about the lighting and the building envelope. And then I've outlined the potential EEMs, which is the EEMs that you calculated, 1, 2, and 3, which you will include into your report. You've already done the work on this. I provided a Word document that you guys can look at. It's of a actual energy audit report, more of a level 2 than a level 1, which was done a couple years ago. for community college building, a different one up in Portland, Oregon. And the reason I wanted you to see what a full-blown audit looks like. Now, there's a lot of gaps here because I took out a lot of identifying information from it, but it was done in collaboration with the Department of Energy, Oregon State University, and Lane Community College. It was something that I conducted with students, but we provided this actual report for our client, which was up in Portland. So you can look at that to see what one looks like and give you some guidance on your report. Now, yours is not going to be as nearly extensive. I'm not requiring you to put in a table of contents. Yours is so small. And I don't think you need to put in abbreviations. That's a little bit of overkill for what you're doing. And of course, don't worry about, for this assignment, you don't need to put in a disclaimer or where your funding is coming from, or even the preface. You could just dive right into your executive summary. And I tabulate my summary based off of Excel. You can do it however you want. There's a building description. I'm not requiring you to do a best practices. Again, this is more of a level 2 audit. But here's the energy cost analysis, which I include, and also the tables. And it goes on. So here's the Energy Star report. And then again, this was a much more detailed audit than what you're doing for the assignment. But I included some information on the equipment that I was able to gather out in the field. And then here are the detailed energy efficiency measures. Now, you did this in your assignment, so all you need to do is take this information and put it into your report. And then this one had an eQuest model to it, so you can see what that looked like. And then we had an appendix with photographs. Again, you're not going to have that. Your assignment is a much condensed version of it, but I wanted you to have the opportunity to generate a report and also see an example of a real report. So there's your example report, and you have your assignment. But after the report's done, you provide it to the client. What comes next? Well, you need to have there's always some kind of follow-up meeting. Did we hit the mark? Is this what you were expecting? Are there any issues? You just need to follow up on your report with your client. And then implementing measures that may or may not happen. It's up to the client and maybe the jurisdiction for which the energy audit is done. Sometimes maybe it just ends with these are the measures, and they look at it and they agree and life goes on. Or they may actually want to somehow implement those measures. And so if they do, then that's going to generate some scope of work for somebody. And let's say the measures are implemented. At some point, there'll be a measurement and verification of that. Did we really save the energy that we thought we would save? This is discussed in the handbook on pages 89 to 93, and a little bit beyond what we have time for here. So that basically concludes our work in commercial building energy audits information at a very fundamental level. This concludes Module 2, Part C.